This second video in the series Sacred Sedona shows a video that Daniel Maddox made while I explained my interpretations of two petroglyphs. We found these two petroglyphs on a wall in a small side canyon of one of the main canyons in the Sedona area. The largest of the two is named by those who know it the turtle pictograph. Here you see a more detailed photo that will help you to understand what I will share and explain. The voice you hear besides mine is of Daniel asking questions for clarity. The video starts with a short impression of the location of the wall. Yeah, I need now to take a picture of the whole thing because this here, am I really right?
Okay, so we're at the turtle pictograph.
The turtle.
We'll just keep calling it that because everybody knows.
Well, that's how people call it. You know, what for me is there are two things that I find very fascinating.
Okay.
In the first place, that people in the past left messages.
Yes.
But they did it from a consciousness that is different from ours. So we're always wrestling with what were they really thinking.
Yes.
And my feeling is that the only way to use this, at least go in the right direction, let me put it that way,
Okay.
is understanding that they were very earth-oriented.
Okay.
So the energies of the earth, for them, even though they would give totally different names and descriptions, are an essential part of understanding the pictographs there.
Okay.
And that is something that in the beginning, you know, I was always looking at and trying to interpret it as my normal mental Western way of thinking.
Yes.
And that doesn't work. And I think that some of the messages even are not properly understood anymore by the current indigenous people, because there is some traditions, but there's also a lot lost.
True.
You know? So when I look at these kind of places, there are two things that I nowadays ask is, okay, there is always, I've learned, with very rare exception, there's always a portal. So in some ways, it's like as if they do something, it is a communication with ancestors.
Okay.
So the pictograph is telling something that the ancestors tell them in order to remind the people about a higher truth than what is generally in our physical reality.
Okay.
So that's why I like these places. And when I do an interpretation, it's coming from Jaap, it's not the truth.
Sure.
But it helps for me to look here, even though the little one there,
Yes.
which has the Trinity, is actually, now I know what this portal is literally reflecting this portal, because this portal is a multi-portal, but an old one, and it has Sirius, Arcturus, and Pleiades, which for the Sinagua, or let's say the Pueblo people, to give a better name,
Yes.
are basically the key ones that they most worked with in this area. So there's the Trinity, and the Trinity goes back to the sacred Trinity, you know, masculine, feminine, and child.
Mm-hmm.
So that is, for me, a likelihood, given the fact that they very clearly indicate three parts, and that one of them seems to be the water symbol, and there the sun, which is fire and water.
Yes.
So the other one, even though people will say it's eternal, I don't know exactly what the symbol is, but apparently it represents something like air or whatever form. But I'm not sure. But in looking at those and those, they are very similar. So what is, you know, if you realize that that Sirius has keywords and knowledge, and that the Arcturians are basically saying this needs to be shared in order to find balance and healing, which is the Pleiades, you may understand that whatever they do must reflect that in one way or another.
Okay.
So while I initially was doing it from the symbols, I now understand better, based on those, that what they try to tell us something is about basically the process of the earth, the evolution of the earth.
Okay.
Because you would not use the sacred Trinity without giving that particular message. So this must have to do something with, so there is an origin somewhere here,
Yes.
and it goes out into where we need to go to. Well, in the process of the new world, there are these 5 stripes, and it is for me difficult because I don't know what's down here. It's too unclear
Right.
now.
Yes.
But the fact that you have 5, in all those traditions of the current people, is about talk about the 4 worlds and moving into the 5th.
Yes.
So the fact that they are in the now outer layers is an indication for, okay, that is part of the evolution that is
Okay.
going on.
The future coming.
The future, yes. So it's telling us that we need to increase, our frequency to higher and higher levels. You can say concentric, and you can also see at higher and higher, or lower and lower, depending on how you interpret it. But this feels like higher.
Okay.
And the fact that they say it's a turtle one, besides the fact that you can even see that as a turtle,
Sure.
is that it is a movement forward. Evolution is a continuous moving forward.
Right.
So even though we went down in consciousness, it was to be able to move forward.
Right.
And I think more or less that is what they try to do in their symbology that I do not completely understand, of course, because their way of thinking was different.
Yeah.
But I think those elements in combination with the portal makes this at least an harmonious with the other energies explanation. I'm
Okay.
not saying that that's what it really is.
Okay. Okay, so this is an older multi-portal, and it's masculine.
It is all 3, it's a trinity.
Oh, it's a trinity. Okay,
It's
and
exactly matching that symbol.
how many star systems does it connect to?
3,
Just 3.
those 3.
Okay.
So it's Sirius, Arcturus, and the Pleiades.
Pleiades, right.
That are the 3 that
Okay.
are here.
Interesting.
And they are actually a trinity as well, that they use in many, you may remember that there's many ruins that have those 3 rooms.
Yes.
Or sometimes the room is not there, but the portal is nonetheless there.
Yes.
So it is something that apparently for them was very important. So to have one where, and sometimes when you create different rooms, they can be separated. You talk to the ancestors, you can move a portal.
Right.
You know when you really are connected, and if that's the way that it helps people, I'm sure the ancestors will help with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this case, it's not separated. This is
Ah.
fascinating. So I'm curious now to look again at that ruin around the corner,
Okay.
because there's definitely, when you come here, this is the story.
Yes.
So you go with that story to that one. There must have be some relationship with that.
Right.
So yeah, this is a very fascinating place.
So this is the first old multi-portal you found?
No, not many.
Oh, okay.
There are many.
Okay.
Yeah. There's even one that contains all the different portals of the world, and that is actually behind Kachina Woman.
Oh.
283 in one spot.
Okay.
But 3 is more common.
Yes.
I found also one. We found even a multi-portal way up in Secret Canyon that was connected with all the portals of the founders. 20-something, 26.
Oh, I can't remember. Is
Yeah,
that
well-
that way high up one? Yeah.
In the
Okay.
yellow sandstone.
Yeah, I remember climbing up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is a fascinating place.
Uh-huh.
I love this.
Sure. Yeah, it's
And again, I'm not saying I'm right, but everything fits in alignment with the portal system.
I understand.
that's here.
I'm still learning, so I'm open.
I'm sure there's far more in it, but there's definitely the basic principle is the spiral. The
Right.
spiral is always a symbol for the dynamic of expanding energies. So
Okay.
evolvement. Yeah.
Right.
Every vortex gives an opportunity to evolve. That's why it's always a vortex verteren.
What I'm curious is the tail comes out suggesting a counterclockwise movement.
Yes.
So usually you think of movement being clockwise.
Yes. Yeah. That is true if you use this the movement of the sun as a symbol for certain cycles.
Okay.
There is a difference between a cycle and the activation of evolution. Evolution is an active process, so you have basically a counter direction, and that's a masculine movement, evolving. You need to do something about it, it's action.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, for me that's very automatically logic.
Okay. Well, it's the traditions that I'd always seen said everything moves clockwise, so I,
So that's not true. That is when you try to understand cycles.
okay.
So you
Cycles
can-
are clockwise.
Yes. So
Okay.
the sun is moving from our perspective clockwise. So when we have a symbol for cycles, you move through that clockwise. Medicine wheel, you move clockwise.
Right, yes,
You don't move in it anti-clockwise.
right.
So, but if you talk about a process is an active system.
Right.
You use the counterclockwise. So that's why this is
Okay,
counterclockwise.
okay, interesting.
Yeah. So that's why all those little elements are, supporting the idea I described, without having, of course, a proof.
This triggers up, the Nazis switched the swastika to be counterclockwise, the movement. So were they trying to create, in their sense, growth or evolution, or did they just do it as an anti, to
No.
negate?
As far, again, I don't know for sure, but I think it wasn't, for them, actually, this is what we want to create. We want to create a new world dominated by the Aryan race.
Okay, okay,
So it needs
so,
to be active.
okay, because what I've read is that Hitler and some of those guys were spiritually aware, so I figured they must have had a reason for inverting it.
Yes.
Okay,
So basically, you see, that's what is potential, because when you take it in, it's potential. It's the feminine way, it's the wisdom.
okay.
But if you don't set wisdom into motion, nothing happens.
Right.
It's like potential that is hanging there.
Yes.
So the counterclockwise is the one that then sets it into motion.
Uh-huh.
And the balanced ones is that what brings it not only in balance, but brings the love elements in it.
Okay.
Because you need to do both, from that perspective. And that is not what the Nazis did, of course.
Oh, no. Okay.
So yeah, you can have all kinds of comments about why is it not balanced, why is the love is not there. Well, inherently in the system, love is always in the center.
Okay.
The love is the one from which the movement is induced. And the fact that all is done from the Trinity place, I think they were knowing pretty well what they were doing.
Okay.
But again, it's an explanation according to Jaap.
Sure. Well, it's a good start till something better comes along.
Exactly.
Next year.
Next year,
Yeah.
or somebody who really, really knows this from their hearts. I'm sure there are
Right.
some shamans that work from their heart, and
Sure.
they may have different ideas about it, and I'm very open for that.
Okay.
definitely.
Okay.
But it's nonetheless fun to play with that
Yes.
what we have and see everything that
Sure.
I've said is at least in alignment with the energies, but I'm not saying it's the truth.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm glad we went here.
Yes. This was a surprise.
Yeah.